This gorgeous stitch pattern is actually quite easy once you get the hang of it. Using chain loops instead of post stitches gives it visual interest without all the bulk that post stitches bring. You could also realistically leave off the chain loop detail and have a completely different look. Be sure to check out my photos at the end to see the possibilities. I'm going to be using Red Heart Super Saver in the color Oatmeal for this tutorial. I'm going to be beginning from the bottom of the hat for the hat band, and this is what I'll be using for the ribbing. So for the ribbing, you need to chain 9. In the second chain from your hook, make a single crochet. Continue doing that all the way across. You should have 8 single crochet at the end of this row. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn. And if you look carefully, this is the back loop here. We are only going to be working through the back loop only in each of these stitches. So place 1 single crochet in each stitch in the back loop only. This is what will create the ribbing. Chain 1 and turn. Again, place 1 single crochet through the back loop only in each stitch across. You're going to continue making single crochet through the back loop only until you get about 54 rows or a multiple of 6 in the length that you desire. So for my head circumference, I want it to be an adult-sized hat. So this is very, very stretchy, as you can see. So you don't want to go until you get the head circumference that you want, but you do want it to be about 19 inches. So just continue until it measures about 19 inches or until it's the circumference you want. So now I'm going to chain 1 and turn, and I'm going to bring the ends together. So make sure they're not twisted and bring the ends together to where the stitches line up. Then I'm going to go through both layers and loosely slip stitch in each stitch across. When you get to the end, unless you want your band to be a different color, do not fasten off. You're going to chain 1 and flip your band inside out so that that seam is on the inside of the hat. So now I'm going to be switching out my hook size to a larger hook size. This will be what I use for the body of the hat. The stitch pattern tends to decrease the size a little bit, so you definitely want to go up a hook size. So round 1 basically is just putting a single crochet in each row of the band around. So you should have the same amount of single crochet as you do rows. And again, you definitely need it to be a multiple of 6. So here I am at the end. I'm going to slip stitch in that first single crochet. Now for round 2, we are going to chain 1 and single crochet in the first stitch. Chain 2, skip the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. Chain 2, skip the next stitch, single crochet in the next stitch. We are going to continue this pattern all the way around the hat. So continue chaining 2, skipping the next stitch, and making a single crochet all the way until you reach the end. So here I am at the end. I've made my last single crochet and chain 2. I'm skipping the very last stitch of the round, and I'm slip stitching into the top of the first single crochet. This is what it should look like. A single crochet, a chain 2, a single crochet, a chain 2, all the way around. So for round 3, you're going to chain 1 and make a single crochet in the first stitch. We're going to repeat the last round, so just chain 2, skip the chain 2 space, and single crochet in the next single crochet. Chain 2, skip the next chain 2 space, and single crochet in the next stitch. Just continue doing this all the way around until you reach the end. So here I am at the end. I've made my last single crochet and chain 2. I'm skipping the last chain space and I'm slip stitching into the top of the first single crochet. Round 4 begins our stitch pattern. So you will chain 1 and we're going to make a chain 7 loop in that first single crochet. So that is a single crochet and a chain 7. To make it into a loop, you are going to put your hook through the front loop only and the vertical bar of the post. So just put it through these 2 loops right here and slip stitch. And that's it. That is a chain 7 loop. So now we're going to chain 3. Skip to the second chain space from your hook. So we're skipping that first chain space and we're going to the second one. Now we are going to slip stitch into the chain space below that one. So push that top chain space to the back and slip stitch in that bottom one. Now chain 3, and we're going to skip the next stitch and the next chain space. And we're going to make another chain 7 loop in the next single crochet. So that again is a single crochet and a chain 7. Then you're going to slip stitch, like I told you, to secure the loop. Chain 3, we're going down again. So skip to the second chain space and slip stitch in the chain space below it. Chain 3, skip the next stitch in chain space and make another chain 7 loop. That is a single crochet and a chain 7. Slip stitch in the front loop only in the vertical bar of the single crochet. Chain 3, skip to the second chain space from your hook and slip stitch in the chain space below that one. Chain 3, skip the next stitch and chain space, and make another chain 7 loop in the next stitch. You should see a pattern forming here. You're going to continue this all the way around until you reach the first chain 7 loop. So you should have a chain 7 loop, chain 3, go down, chain 3, go up, chain 7 loop, just all the way around. So here I am at the last repeat. Chain 3, skip to the second chain space and slip stitch in the chain space below it. Chain 3, skip the next stitch and chain space. And now we're back where we started, so you're just going to slip stitch into the top of the single crochet that you made for that chain 7 loop. This is how your piece should look. Now for round 5, we are going to turn our work before we chain. It's very important. So now you will chain 1, and we're going to make a single crochet in the top of the single crochet we joined our last round in of that chain 7 loop. Now we will chain 1, and we're going to begin working 2 rounds below into the stitches that we skipped. So here's round 4 where we chained and went down. We are going to be working into the stitches behind those chain 3 spaces, into these single crochet stitches here. So because it's so far down, we're going to double crochet down into those so that our stitches line up in height. So double crochet and then chain 1 and then skip the next chain space. And we're going to double crochet again into that single crochet there. Chain 1, and now we're back to the single crochet of the chain 7 loop. So we're actually going to be working in both rounds for this round. So we're going to skip that chain 7 loop and push it forward. And we're going to single crochet into the single crochet of the chain 7 loop. Now we're going to do it all over again. Chain 1, working 2 rounds below, we're going to skip that first chain space, and we're going to work into the single crochet down below. Double crochet in that first stitch, and then chain 1, skip the next chain space, and double crochet in the next single crochet 2 rounds below. Chain 1. Now we're back to the round before. We're going to single crochet in the top of the single crochet of the chain 7 loop. So you're just going to continue doing this all the way around the hat. There should be a chain 1 space in between each stitch. Here I am at the end. We're going to double crochet, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet, chain 1, and now we're at the beginning where we started. So we're just going to slip stitch into the top of that first single crochet we made. This is what it should look like. Turn your work for round 6. Chain 1. In that very same single crochet where we joined, we're going to make a chain 7 loop. So that starts with a single crochet and then a chain 7. Then slip stitch into the front loop only in the vertical bar of that first single crochet. Chain 3. Skip to the second chain space from your hook. Now we're going to slip stitch into the chain space below that. Now chain 3. Skip the next stitch and chain space, and make another chain 7 loop in the top of the single crochet. That's a single crochet and chain 7. Slip stitch into the front loop only and the vertical bar of the single crochet. Chain 3, skip to the second chain space from your hook. Slip stitch into the chain space below that one. Chain 3, make a chain 7 loop in the next chain 7 loop. So you're just going to repeat this pattern all the way around until you get to the first stitch. So here I am at the end of that round. And I'm going to slip stitch into the first single crochet I made of the first chain 7 loop. This is what your piece should look like. For the next round, we are going to turn our work, chain 1, and in that same single crochet where we joined, we're going to make a single crochet. Chain 1. Now we are going to be working into the stitches 2 rounds below again. So there's our chain 3 spaces from our previous round. And we're going to be working into these double crochet behind that. So you see this double crochet here and here. We are going to be making double crochet stitches into those stitches. So we're going to double crochet, chain 1, and skip the next chain space. And we're going to double crochet in the top of the next double crochet. Chain 1, and now we're back to the round below, just one round below. And we're going to push that chain 7 loop forward and single crochet in the single crochet of that chain 7 loop. Chain 1, working 2 rounds below, we are going to double crochet in the top of the next double crochet. Chain 1, skip the next chain 1 space and double crochet again. Chain 1, single crochet in the single crochet of the chain 7 loop. Just continue in this fashion all the way around till you reach the first single crochet. So here I am near the end, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet. Now turn your work. This is how it should look. You're just going to continue repeating the last 2 rounds over and over until your hat measures about 8 inches for an adult size hat. So here I am. I've repeated rounds 6 and 7 until my hat measures about 8 inches, and I ended on a round 7 repeat. That's the wrong side round. Now we're going to start decreasing. So for this next round, you will chain 1, and instead of making a chain 7 loop, we are going to make a chain 5 loop. So you're going to single crochet and then chain 5. Slip stitch like we did before. Chain 3, skip to the second chain space and slip stitch in the chain space below it. Chain 3, And we're going to make another chain 5 loop. So that's a single crochet and another chain 5. Chain 3, skip to the second chain space and slip stitch into the chain space below it. Chain 3, make a chain 5 loop. You're just going to continue repeating this all the way around. So here I am at the end. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the single crochet of my first chain 5 loop. Now this next round we are going to decrease, and we are not going to turn our work like we have been. We're going to chain 1 and single crochet in that first single crochet. Now we are going to be working into the stitches 2 rounds below like we were before. We just didn't turn our round. So I'm just going to single crochet in the tops of the double crochet 2 rounds below. And because this is a decreasing round, I'm not going to be chaining 1 in between these stitches. So make a single crochet in the single crochet in the top of every chain 5 loop. And then you're going to single crochet in the tops of the double crochet 2 rounds below that are sitting behind those chain 3 spaces. If it's more comfortable for you to turn this round, you can. There's no reason why you can't. I just didn't. So just continue repeating this all the way around, and I'll see you when we get to the end. So here I am at the end. I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet of this round. Now we're going to chain 1, and this we are going to decrease again. So single crochet in the first stitch. Now we're going to single crochet the next 2 stitches together. Single crochet in the next stitch, and in the next 2 stitches we are going to single crochet 2 stitches together. Single crochet in the next stitch, then single crochet the next 2 stitches together. You're just going to repeat this all the way around. So here I am at the end, and before we do our next round, we are going to interlock these chain loops to make it look like the braid. So you'll want to start at the bottom of your hat, take your round above it through the round below it. So I'm going to take this one here and put it through this loop here. And then in the loop above it, I'm going to take it through that one. You're just going to continue in this fashion all the way to the top of the hat. And make sure that the one that is at the very, very top is your chain 5 loop. That's very important. So this is what it should look like when you're done with one row. So just continue interlocking the loops all the way around the hat, starting at the bottom and working your way up, and make sure that chain 5 loop is at the very top. So here I have my entire hat interlocked, and this is how it should look. I'm going to do another round and simultaneously attach that chain 5 loop at the top there. So for the next round, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to single crochet in the first stitch. Now going through the chain 5 loop and through the next stitch, we are going to make a single crochet. So single crochet in the next stitch. Make sure that you're not putting more than 1 stitch in each one. And going through the chain 5 loop and the next stitch, make a single crochet in the next stitch. Make a single crochet in the next stitch. And then going through the chain 5 loop in the next stitch, single crochet. So you're just going to continue repeating this all the way around. We're actually not decreasing on this round. So here I am at the last chain 5 loop. This will be the last stitch of the round. I'm going to make a single crochet. And I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the first single crochet. Now for the next round, we are going to chain 1, single crochet in the first stitch. Then you're going to single crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. Single crochet in the next stitch, and then single crochet 2 together over the next 2 stitches. So you're just decreasing in every other stitch. So go ahead and repeat this all the way around, making a single crochet and then single crocheting 2 together over the next 2 stitches. All the way around, you should be ending on a single crochet 2 together. So now I'm going to slip stitch into the top of my very first single crochet, and I'm going to fasten off. Leave yourself a bit of a tail because we're going to use it to close the top of the hat the rest of the way. So go ahead and thread it through your yarn needle. And look very carefully here. I am going to be going through the front loops only. So this is the back loop only here, and this is the front loop only. So I'm going to be whip stitching through each of the front loops only. This is going to make the hat look seamless. You are not going to be able to tell that this hat wasn't a top-down hat if you do it this way. So here I am showing you a trick. You can do multiple stitches at once. So once you get it through all of the stitches, you should be able to easily cinch it closed. And that is how it should look at the top. I'm going to take my yarn needle and put this tail through the inside. I like to add pom-poms to my hats, and this is the strand that I will use to attach the button on the inside of the hat. And knot it off. And that is it. You're going to weave in your tails, maybe add your pom-pom at the top or your tag at the bottom, and that's it. This could actually be 2 different looks. You would just leave off the chain loops for it to look like the one on the left. I'm also going to be releasing a pattern set that will include wrist warmers, ear warmers, and a cowl. These photos were done by one of my testers, Busy Bee Crochet by Bree. Your braided arrow beanie is complete. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching.